Hey everyone, my name's Samantha. 3 years ago, I was a runner. Literally and figuratively, I had marathons, plans for the future, a body that did whatever I asked. Then 1 second on the road changed everything. This isn't a story about a quick fall or a heroic comeback. It's about losing myself, my legs, my health, my hope, and learning to live again when the world shrank to four walls and pain that wouldn't let go. If you've ever felt your body turn into a prison, you'll get this. Stick with me. It's a long road. I was 29. I worked as a fitness trainer, not an Instagram star, but I had my clients at a downtown gym. I loved movement, running marathons, hiking mountains, teaching yoga to beginners. Friends called me a machine, always going, always on my feet. I had a boyfriend, Nate. We'd been together 2 years, planning a wedding for the next summer. Life wasn't perfect. I fought with my boss over schedules, worried I wasn't earning enough. But I felt strong. My legs carried me anywhere, mountain trails, city pavement, toward my dreams. My mom was my anchor since I was a kid. We lived in Omaha, Nebraska, just the two of us. Dad walked out when I was 3, leaving us with debts and an empty apartment. Mom worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices by day, sewing at night, to keep food on the table, but she always made time for me. I remember falling off my bike at 5, scraping my knee bloody. She ran over, hugged me, and sang a silly song about brave knights while bandaging it. Her voice, low, a little raspy from exhaustion, was my calm. In school, I was quiet, shy, and when kids mocked my thrift store clothes, Mom said, "You're stronger than their words, Sam." She taught me to get up, after falls, tears, everything. When I was 12, Mom got sick, breast cancer. I'd sit in her hospital room, holding her hand, while she cracked jokes about the awful food. She fought for 2 years. Chemo, surgeries, nights I heard her cry through the wall. But she pulled through. "For you, Sam," she said when the doctor called it remission. I promised myself I'd be as tough as her. At 18, I left for Denver to study sports training. Mom cried, but beamed with pride. We talked weekly. Her voice held me steady when I doubted myself. Everything changed on September 14th, 2021. I was biking home from a workout, like always. It was a normal evening, sun setting behind the Rockies, air smelling of pine. I pedaled, feeling the breeze, thinking about dinner with Nate. At an intersection, I saw headlights, too close, too fast. A drunk driver in a pickup blew through a red. I swerved, but it was too late. The crash hit like an explosion. I flew 10 yards, landed on asphalt. The last thing I remember is pain in my back and silence swallowing everything. I woke up in the hospital 2 days later. My body felt alien, heavy, unresponsive. The doctors said, spinal fracture, bone fragments shredded my cord. Below the waist, paralysis. Maybe permanent, they added softly. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, unable to believe it. My legs, the ones that ran 10 marathons, danced at parties, carried me to summits, were gone. I couldn't feel them. Nate sat beside me, holding my hand, but I saw fear in his eyes. Mom flew in from Omaha the next day, crying, hugging me, promising it'd be okay. Her voice shook, but I heard that same strength from my childhood. Still, I knew nothing would be the same. Those first months were hell. They discharged me after 6 weeks, in a wheelchair, with meds and prescriptions. I moved into a ground floor apartment. My old place, with its stairs, was out of reach. Nate helped, but I could see him pulling away. He cooked, drove me to rehab, but I'd hear his sighs when he thought I was asleep. Mom came every month, brought homemade pie, sat with me, reminisced about me running as a kid. "You're still my girl," she'd say, but I'd brush her off. Friends visited at first, flowers, jokes, promises, but they tapered off. "Life, you know," they'd say. I became a burden, not fun Samantha, but a shadow in a chair. Pain was everywhere, physical, back spasms that made me scream at night, and deeper, pain from who I wasn't anymore. I couldn't work. The gym let me go. No. Openings for a trainer in a wheelchair. I lived off insurance, barely covering rent and pills. I started on painkillers, by prescription at first, then more than I should have. They dulled the ache, but dulled me too. I'd sit in front of the TV, staring into nothing for hours, feeling life drain away. Nate left after 8 months. He sat across from me one night and said, "I can't do this anymore, Sam. I'm not what you need." I didn't yell, didn't cry, just nodded. He packed and walked out, leaving a silence that buzzed in my head. Mom called daily, but I lied. "I'm fine." I didn't want her worrying. She'd sold her car to cover my first hospital bills. Once, we fought. I yelled, "Stop trying to save me." She cried and said, "I can't help it. You're my daughter." I hung up, but her words spun in my mind. I lost more. My cat, Rocky, from college, got sick. Cancer. Like Mom's old fight. I couldn't afford the vet. Had to put him down. I sobbed, holding him, remembering how he'd sleep by me after long runs. My marathon medals hung on the wall. I hated them, but left them up. They mocked me, reminders of who I'd been. The lowest point hit on a rainy day. I dumped my pills on the table, not to die, but to see if I could. I stared at them, thinking, maybe this is better. The phone rang. Mom. I didn't pick up, but her voice on the machine. "Sam, I love you. Please talk to me." Broke me. That raspy, warm voice from childhood, from nights, she sang to me. Days she taught me to stand tall. I couldn't let her down, not after all she'd fought through for me. I flushed the pills and sobbed, gripping the table. Things shifted with Julia. She was a physical therapist at the rehab center I went to weekly. Sharp, honest, no babying. She said, "You can sit and pity yourself, or you can find a way to live." "What's it gonna be?" I snapped back, but her words stuck. She pushed me, not to walk again. That was a pipe dream, but to strengthen my arms, my back, myself. I hated her at first, but started craving those sessions. Another turn came with a support group. I joined reluctantly, didn't buy into feelings talk. There I met Kyle, a guy who'd lost a leg in the army. Rough, dark humor, but he got me. He said, "You're not dead, Sam, just different." We started hanging out, coffee, old movies. He showed me his workshop, carved wooden figures, sold them online. "Keeps me sane," he said. I wondered, what keeps me? I tried painting. Loved it in school. Mom bought me paints even when we could barely eat. I got a cheap set. Started with angry streaks, spilling frustration. Then shapes emerged. Mountains, trees, faces. Kyle joked, "Sell this stuff." I laughed it off, but he secretly sent pics to a gallery friend. They called, offered an exhibit. I thought it was a prank, but said yes. Sold 3 paintings, not for much, but it was my first cash in 2 years. Life didn't get easy. I fought with Kyle once. He pushed me to go camping. I exploded. "I can't." We didn't talk for a week, but he came back with a carved bird. "This is you, Sam. Wings are there, just different." I cried. We made up. Mom visited more. Brought my old running shoes once. Couldn't toss 'em, she said. I kept them on a shelf, a memory. There was a moment with Nate's brother, Travis. He showed up a year after the crash. Apologized for Nate. I didn't expect it. We talked, and I let some hurt go. One day, I helped a stranger. Guy fell off his bike, skinned his knee. I gave him wipes and a bandage from my bag. He thanked me like I'd saved his day, and I smiled. First time in forever. I've had other fights to win since then. Last spring, I got a letter from the driver's insurance. They tried to cut my settlement, claiming I shared fault. I was furious, spent weeks on the phone, found a lawyer through the support group. We won, not a fortune, but enough to buy better paints and a ramp for my place. It made me think. Strength isn't just in legs. It's in the stubborn part of you that says, I'm still here. I started writing too. Notes about my days, my paintings, my mom's old lessons. Maybe I'll turn them into something someday. For now, they're mine. Proof I'm not just surviving, I'm building. I've had other fights to win since then. Last spring, I got a letter from the driver's insurance. They tried to cut my settlement, claiming I shared fault. I was furious, spent weeks on the phone, found a lawyer through the support group. We won, not a fortune, but enough to buy better paints and a ramp for my place. Mom came to help install it. She insisted on painting it bright blue, saying it matched my spirit, and we laughed like we hadn't since I was a kid. I even dug out an old photo of us from my first race, pinned it by my easel. It's a quiet reminder of where my grit came from. Today, I'm not the Samantha who ran marathons. That girl vanished in the crash. I carry scars, pain that hits at night, a chair that marks my limits. But I've got something new. I paint. My work's in local cafes. People buy it. I volunteer at the group. Listen, share. There's Kyle. Not a lover, but a friend who sees me. There's Mom. Her voice holds me like it did when I was a kid. I'm not rich, not healthy by old standards, but alive, more than I could have imagined. This isn't about losing my legs. It's about finding wings when the ground split open. Life can take everything, but not you, if you hold on. I held on. Hey, if this hit you, pause. What's holding you back? What did you lose? And what can you still find? I was where the world felt like the end. But you don't have to stay there. Write your story in the comments. For you, not me. Let it out. Subscribe if you want more tales like this, about breaking and growing. Take a step today, small, yours, because your life's worth fighting for. Thanks for listening. See you next time.